Hey everybody, welcome back to the Infinite Regression. Oh man, so regressy, so infinite. Hey, so here's the thing. Uh I have been working on something. I have been working on getting all of my DOSBox games put together with icons and all the things. It's been way too much work, and I should have been working on other things, quite frankly. But this is something that I care about, and I love the old DOS games because I cut my teeth on such games back in the day. And so I want to add these to the vintage gaming mix because I am trying to review all kinds of vintage games. Once a week, we're going to do a Steam game, and then we're going to do a vintage game. So without too much more mumbo jumbo, me chattering and whatnot, let's get to the game. This week's game is Ninja. This one is brought to us by Mastertronic. It was released in 1986, and it is a game that was released on everything at the time. Absolutely everything. It was released on the Commodore and the Atari 8-bit line and the ZX Spectrum and the PC, and I don't know if it was released on Apple, but it was certainly released on a wide variety of things. Just about every single platform that you could release it on back in the day. This may remind some of you, as you're looking at it, of Kung Fu for the NES. Yes, it is indeed very similar. And you may also be thinking to yourself as you watch this gameplay, my goodness, that game is running kind of fast. Yeah, that's that's how I played it. It is how I played it back in the day. And look, martial arts games in the 1980s were a dime a dozen. Everybody was putting out all sorts of martial arts games. And here's the fun thing to know is that my father is a black belt. Like when kids used to do the whole my dad can beat up your dad, my dad might actually be able to beat up your dad. I mean, not anymore. He's like 70, but back in the day, my dad was a formidable foe. Anyway, so here's the thing with Ninja. I have way too strong of a nostalgic hold on this game to really look at it objectively. And so I'm telling you right now, everything I have to say about this, my final score, it's all going to be skewed wildly because this takes me back to my childhood. It was very seldom that my dad would come home with a new game. And he came home with this one because it's a martial arts game, and there were others around. There was Karateka that was very popular, international karate, a bunch of karate and martial arts type games at the time. But this one just hit me in a special way because I love ninjas. Like everybody my age was all about ninjas. We could not get enough ninjas. We would take turtles as ninjas if we had to, and indeed we had to because that show was awesome. The original Ninja Turtles. Anyway, but we were all about ninjas, and I especially I had ninja action figures. I had a ninja Halloween costume that I wore multiple years in a row. My dad bought these split toe ninja shoes, which had no traction. The ones we got, I mean, maybe some others had some traction, but these were like hard, like super skid 'em up rubber on the bottom. And so like I wore them to school a couple of times and it did not go well. It was sliding all over the place. Anyway, regardless, but ninjas were it. And so this game captured my young imagination. So here's the entire deal with this game. You are making your way through room after room. And these are like, if this game happened today, we would call it a roguelike. Probably, because there's no roguelite, there's no like keeping your progression whatsoever. Your character does not build over time. You know, he doesn't get any better. He just is who he is. And you start out, you are trying to collect 7 idols. They're these little shiny ninja star looking things on the ground. And everybody else is trying to protect them from you stealing them. You have to steal all 7, and then you have to make your way back to the opening screen where you started out. And that's the whole game. Very rarely am I successful in that endeavor. It's probably partially due to the fact that I play this game at way too high a speed. I don't think it's meant to be played quite this fast. But that's the speed that I'm used to playing it, because I think this game was made for like, you know, the 386 line, and my dad had a 486, so a little bit faster. And so that's what I played it on. And so, you know, I just went to town on this game. Now, here's the thing that's frustrating me about this as I'm showing you this gameplay footage. You can pick up weapons on the ground. There's a throwing star that looks like a little plus sign. There is a knife that looks like a cross. And you can chuck these at enemies, but be careful. They can chuck them right back at you. And so I'm very conservative with those. My initial approach was to just go full crotch punchies on everybody. And that was working pretty well until I ran into people with swords. Because every now and again, you're going to run across somebody who can just one hit kill you. And that is no bueno. So you especially have to watch out for the guys with swords, because they can take care of you pretty quickly. I think just 1 or 2 hits is all they need. You also have a sword, but it is wildly unpredictable and hard to make it happen because you have to hit it on a diagonal. And even when I'm using the arrow keys, I still can't get my sword to come out, which is crazy. I originally played this with a joystick. Like an old school, you know, plugged into the game port on the back of the sound card joystick. And so, yeah, it was a little easier to hit the diagonals on that for some reason. But anyway, yeah, so my original plan of just crotch punching everything that came my way fell apart pretty quickly. And so I had to start using some more kicks, and things varied up my attacks a little bit. Not too much, as you'll see. And I almost made it. I got the closest I have ever gotten in the history of me playing this game. I got to a point, I got all 7 idols. I just didn't make it back out. And that is frustrating because, you know, yeah, the idols regenerate your health, but once you've got all 7 of them, there is no more health regeneration. You just got to get out. And yeah, I have never beat this game, but I have poured hours and hours into it. Maybe if I played it at the right speed, because this is one of those games, and you'll know, especially when you're setting up your DOSBox games, if you have the CPU at the wrong clock speed for the game that you're playing, and it's a game that runs faster or slower depending on the CPU's clock speed, Yeah, if you have it set way too fast, you are gonna die quickly. And I don't know, if I have it set way slower, am I gonna be bored? Is it gonna be more strategic? Am I gonna have to, find my hits in different spots and whatnot? I don't know. But I'm used to playing it fast, and I'm used to the kind of outcomes that I get playing it at that speed, which is me sometimes getting very close to beating the game, but never actually beating the game. There are a handful of games from my childhood, because not all the games, a lot of games from my childhood were high score chase, and there is a scoring factor in this game, but like that is not the be all end all of the game. It's really all about getting to the end, getting all those 7 idols, making it back to the starting screen, bing bang boom, there you go. And so I have never made it that far. Yeah, and of the games that I played as a kid, so many of them were just high score chase. Like, I probably poured more hours into Galaxian than any other game, and yeah, that's just pure high score chase. And I once set a high score on okay, if you go to San Francisco and you go down to like, there's a spot where they got this decommissioned battleship, and there's an arcade right there next to the water, and right on the waterfront. And yeah, in there I set a high score on their Galaxian machine, so maybe it's still there. Who knows? Anyway, regardless, like, I was way wicked good at that game back in the day. Still reasonably decent at it today. This one, I'm not as good at it as I used to be, I don't think. Or maybe I'm exactly as good because I didn't beat it then, I didn't beat it now. But it does scratch a certain itch, and I cannot help but wonder how someone who has never played this game would react to it. Because I've seen some of the reviews online for it when I was looking for images and stuff for the review. And yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just generic. This like knockoff Karateka that's no good. And so I'm like, yeah, maybe people don't love this game. I love this game. You don't have to love it. Maybe it's just for me. Anyway, let me put a final score on it, and then we will be done. So final score wise, we are going 8 out of a possible 10 Master Gordons from Ninja Strike Force. Yeah, this is one of those Godfrey Ho terrible 1980s like slapped together ninja movies, where basically Godfrey Ho took pre-existing movies, cut them up, inserted some new fight scenes, put in some ninja content into some pre-existing 1970s kung fu content, and it's terrible. And yeah, just look at the look on this dopey guy's face, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. You can watch Ninja Strike Force on YouTube. I recommend it if you've never seen like truly awful martial arts movies. Oh, they are special. There is something just so obscenely good about awful martial arts movie. Man. Anyway, so yeah, I love Ninja way too much. I'm gonna rate it way too high. I'm gonna enjoy it some more. I'm glad I have this game back on my computer so that I can play it whenever I want to, which is going to be frequently. I'm going to get those 7 idols, and I'm going to beat the game. Just you watch. No, you won't be able to watch because I won't be able to do it when I'm recording. Of course I won't. But if I'm smart, I'll like screenshot it and show you if I ever do. Anyway, people, that will do it for this one. and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.